Now, if you or your kids play a musical instrument, chances are that you'll have experienced the stress of an exam, trembling your way through a few prepared pieces, theory questions and those dreaded scales.
Of course, the endless scales. Now, the organisation responsible for those music exams, the Australian Music Examinations Board, is celebrating its centenary this year, 100 years of awful exams. What a terrible thing to celebrate. Its CEO is Bernard Depasquale, and he joins us in the studio. Bernard, good morning.
Good morning.
I only half mean that. Do you play?
I play piano.
And what do you remember of your first exams?
I got nervous about my exams, but I enjoyed them. And so not for everyone is it a stressful experience. And I think you have to think about, for the child that does find it very nerve-wracking and stressful, the great achievement of doing that successfully is hugely confidence building for them.
That's true.
Tell us about the exams and why they're necessary and what the child gets beyond that exam.
So we provide syllabuses which are really for the teachers to give them a framework to teach, and then the exams give the children a goal to work to and a benchmark, so they and the teacher know where they are in comparison with other kids, how much progress they're making.
And I guess when it comes to playing music, at some point you play, not just for yourself, but for others too. So it's an introduction to that equally nerve-wracking moment of performance.
Correct, yeah.
Tell us about the history of the board. So you're celebrating your centenary. You've been around for 100 years. How did it all come together and was founded?
So it came together through the universities who saw the need for a sort of what they called then a public examination system, started with the University of Melbourne and Adelaide, and then all the other states joined in, and as is often the way, New South Wales joined last in 1918.
Why is that often the way? Why is that the way?
New South Wales think they're...
Well, they were a country of their own.
Correct.
Yeah. And what are you able to measure kids and their participation with musical instruments, and how many kids are still learning to play musical instruments these days?
So we have our own measure, obviously, the kids who enter our exams. It's difficult to measure because it's a largely unregulated area, but the other thing that's very measurable is the number of musical instruments that are brought into the country and sold each year, and that increases every year.
It increases?
So
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
We know there's more participation in music. So
does the board exist as a separate independent entity from all schools and from all universities? So if you study an instrument, say up to year 12 level, that exam is set by the board and assessed outside of any school parameters?
Yeah, so it's our own qualification and our own framework and standard.
What should children who are thinking about taking their instrument further along in their school years, maybe up to years 11 and 12, what would you urge them to think about and to do?
To practice.
Knew you'd say that.
Our qualifications go up to a diploma level, which is equivalent to a university level, but children who are really keen on music and go on to music at university tend to move from AMEB to the university exams.
Right, and they're separate, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bernard, what's the most important thing for a child to take to music and to keep going in those first couple of years? Is it the teacher or is it the parents?
That's a good question. I think children, you might be familiar with the Suzuki method.
Yes.
And the parents are integral to that method. They come to the lessons, they practice with the kids, and that's one of the reasons that method is so successful. And so I think parental involvement is really important, but the teacher is key. The teacher has to instill a love of music for the child. And
yeah.
Is it too late for us to learn piano?
Never too late to learn.
I want to go back to saxophone. I did saxophone for a year.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a great thing to go back to.
I stopped it because I got... I listened to people who said I look like a dork carrying a... It's one of the great regrets of my life.
Exactly, and you can't...
I love that you're playing the tenor saxophone.
I think it's invariably true, isn't it, that what young people say to other young people about playing musical instruments is wrong.
I think so, although my son refused to carry my wife's violin around because he was a brass player, and he said, well, I'm not going to be seen carrying a violin around.
That's a different issue.
Oh, there's a hierarchy of cool. Who knew?
Yes, but what I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, I really regret never learning music, but I've never had anyone come up to me and say, I regret learning music.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
And that's the takeout lesson. Bernard, really nice to spend time with you, and happy centenary to the examination board.
congratulations.
Well
Thanks
done.
very much.
Thank you.